Hey, it's MK, and I am here with a Stretch the Sketch layout for you guys today. And the sketch that we are using actually comes from Follow a Sketch February. So this is the sketch that I will be either stretching or shrinking. Oh my gosh, those words are hard today. So I've got several photos chosen. I actually have, 6 photos. I know that there's going to be one that I will not be using. And then I pulled out a couple scraps for my scraps layout that I was going to do in January, and I've pushed it into February. I also picked out a couple elements from the kit that I picked up on this cruise ship, but I will not be using, I don't think I end up using any of them. Maybe I use one, but I don't think I do end up using any of these elements from the kits from the cruise ship. I have some cool paper. This one is from Kaiser Craft. That was an amazing tropical collection. And then I have this piece from Cocoa Vanilla. It was from the Sunshine collection. Has rainbows on one side and then this chevron on the other side. I have a white scrap of cardstock that I will be using for my base page. I thought I was going to pull in these dollar store elements here, but I did find this cool looking rope frame from Simple Stories. I believe it was Simple Stories. And then I have a ton of other little elements from 49 and Market Sunburst collection, as well as some handmade flowers that I made, some hearts from the Simple Stories Coastal collection. The leaves are all handmade. I made them for another layout, I want to say in October of last year, but I do not remember. And then these are the little hearts. I also have some brads in here that I picked up from a give-take table. Someone just had random brads everywhere, and I kind of went through them and picked out 3 of them that were all travel related because I was working on a travel album, and somehow they ended up in this little baggie, probably because I was working on some of these pages as well. At a retreat that I was at. And then also from a give-take table, I found this ribbon. I don't remember what it's called. Rickrack, I think is what it's called. And so I was going to try to throw that on the layout too, and get it to work. All right, so I love this design. I'm going to shrink mine down to a 9x12. And I am thinking for my pattern paper, I'm going to use this gorgeous floral paper from Kaiser Craft. And then I have, instead of a stripe, I actually am going to trim down my photos and create a border from my photos. So that way I get a creative use of my photos. I've got this picture that Janet took of me and Sandy. I'm trying to listen to what Sandy is saying. I can't remember as we go through this buffet style design of build your own like nachos, tacos, burritos, things like that. So I am going to fussy cut out all of my pictures. I fussy cut out the name of the restaurant. I also fussy cut out a couple of the skulls that were on the backboard of like the cooking area of the restaurant. And so I thought, oh, that'll make it a little personalized if I add that into my embellishments. So fussy cut those out. That idea actually came from Janet, if I'm being honest. And then I'm going to use this chevron paper to matte my photos. I figured that it was a great color that complemented all of the different colors of leaves in my Kaiser Craft pictures, or paper, not just papers. The dark blue paper, I want to say, is actually from the Bird Song by 49 and Market, I think is where that came from. But it matched the darker leaves on the Kaiser Craft. And I'm only going to use it to mount my my photos that I'm going to turn into a border. So that way I have one piece to work with instead of trying to struggle working with all 3 pictures, trying to make sure that it's straight and whatnot. I like the fact that my paper already had a torn edge on it, so I'm going to try to work with that as well. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got my paper already cut down to size. I've got my Kaiser Craft paper ready to go. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it to the top, like it is, my patterned paper. Well, it is my pattern paper. But I'm going to be working with a rough edge instead of a straight edge, just because that's the kind of style that I like. I like things uneven, torn, ripped, distressed. I like it because it takes the perfectionist out of trying to make a layout. So I've got my 2 photos instead of, 2 pictures. I've got several photos instead of 3 on this layout because I did shrink it down. And I also wanted to keep my photos at a 6x4 format, but I did end up trimming around them, got rid of all of the white noise around them. For here, I'm just making sure that I do have a 12-inch. Before I cut 3 inches off, I wanted to make sure that I did actually have a 12-inch piece of paper, and then I'm just going to trim it down ever so slightly so I have a small little border for my photos to rest on and frame in. But I do like the idea of including photos into into part of the layout, into part of the design of the layout. I know we add photos to layouts. That's not what I'm saying, but I like the fact that now I have a custom border strip for my layout that was made from the photos, and I didn't have to figure out where to put the photos, I just didn't have to figure out that randomness of photos. I did end up cutting it a little too short. It must have not been quite a 9 by or a 12-inch piece from that blue paper, but in the end, it all ends up working out. I really wanted this Vicky Bouton word paper to work on the layout. I was going to frame my photos in that paper. I'm glad I didn't, because it would have taken away from the design of the layout. So I'm really glad that I went through this exercise and tried to think through what it was that I was going to be doing with this paper. And the more that I saw what I was trying to accomplish, the more it worked out that I didn't like it, if that makes any sense. I'm taking away from all this white space and trying to build something behind, and it just wasn't working. So what I'm trying to do now is actually line up all the words to make a perfect design all the way across, and then I realized I just can't do it. I can't figure out how it works. I can find some of the words, and then I keep looking up a little bit more and the words are gone. Here I was going to try to, have the words go in all different directions, kind of like the dictionary paper where it's, there is no direction for it. And nope, that didn't work either. Then I tried to figure, I can hide the hole with this, journal spot, and tell the little funny story of where I walked around trying to find out how to pay for my food. Okay, you guys, to be honest, this was my very first time on a cruise boat. I had no idea what to do, how it worked. I didn't know anything. And I found a guy that had a cart of water, and asked him, I said, "Where do I go to pay?" And he was like, "What? You're so weird." Well, you walk up, you just take food and you're good to go. That was so strange to me. I did not have a clue, you guys. And so, of course, Sandy and Janet were laughing at me. We met up with Lynn and her husband, and a different Lynn that I normally talk about. And they started laughing at me and just tried to, actually, they embraced me, if I'm being honest. Lynn and her husband were so good to me because they just made me feel not so silly. Because I was feeling pretty silly, if I'm being honest. But I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just going to take the food. And if it needed to be paid for, I didn't want it to be charged to my room. I didn't want, where do I scan? What did I didn't know what to do. Well, apparently you just walk up and you take, and that's that. And so, yeah, it was definitely different than what I am used to entirely. And so everybody got a really good laugh at it. I know Janet was taking lots of candid pictures of me, because this was my first time on a cruise boat, and my reaction is what she was trying to catch of, how do I react to this and how do I react to that, and so on and so forth. I I was worried a lot because just the size of the ship and the amount of people that I was reading was going to be on this ship was very scary to me. It's like an enclosed Disneyland, and that to me does not sound like fun at all. I don't like big lines. Not that I am impatient, but it's the I'm not going to pay attention and I'm going to goof off in line and push the other person, right? That type of thing just gets to me. Everybody gets bored and tries to find ways to pass the time and whatnot, and sometimes it involves disturbing the people in front or behind you because you're taking up too much space. And so that kind of I don't want to say irritates me, but the fact that I might get bumped into kind of freaks me out. And so I was very nervous when I first got on this ship. And I think one of the things that definitely helped me get past all of it was my early mornings and the ship being completely blank. I got up at about between 4:45 and 5 a.m. I got up and I explored the ship, and I barely ran into anybody. There was a lot of people doing exercises, and I don't say a lot. A lot to me is 5. So there were about 5 people running around the track. There were a couple people going up the stairs into headed to the fitness area. There was another photographer walking around taking pictures as well. Actually, he was very, very nice. He offered to take if I wanted my picture taken by myself in there because I was taking several selfies. Of course, I said no because that was the whole point. I was trying to take selfies. But I did love being able to go and take pictures of the restaurants that we visited without anybody in them, without getting the tops of heads, because I'm trying to get, all of these logos and whatnot from this particular taco bar, right? And so it was great. And I think that is what also helped me. Plus, Janet put up with me and taking the stairs a lot. There was a specific stairwell that we found that hardly anybody was ever on. Sometimes we ran into people, but it wasn't enough to freak me out. But the elevators were definitely a no-go. I'll pass on those elevators. Like, no way. But every now and then we got into an elevator by ourselves, and because Janet can't always take the stairs. And so it was a perfect good mix of elevator, stairs, stairs, elevator, elevator, stairs, 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 stairs. Or if they took the elevator, they didn't mind if I took the stairs. So it was all in all really great. Okay, so most of the elements, as you can see, that I had intended for this layout, I realize that sometimes my eyes are bigger than my page, and I can't put all the things on the page, especially if I took a 12 by 12 and I shrunk it down to a 9 by 12. So I had to remove some of the elements. I really did like those the leaves from the dollar store, but I have to say that they were too big for my element. Plus, I really liked the little leaves that I made to go with my handmade flowers. I just liked all of the other elements, and now it looks like my flowers are kind of falling out of my pattern paper and down into my layout. So I kind of like that a lot better. And then of course I'm trying to use up all of these little hearts because I have a plenty of them. And so I really liked bringing those in as well. So to finish off my layout, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue behind some washi tape to hold my rickrack. I don't know. My weird ribbon going on here. I actually put the glue down for more of a permanent hold, and then the washi tape is because I'm too lazy to hold it and wait for the glue to dry. That's the only reason why I use the washi tape, if I'm being honest. I do love how this looks. If you count, I have 6 photos on a 9 by 12 layout, but I love I have been loving. I just started it, cutting up my photos and using them as elements and embellishments on my layout. Actually, no, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 because I cut out all of those little skull heads from a photo as well. So anyways, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to check out the 2 playlists that I have down below, one for Follow a Sketch February and the other one is for Stretch the Sketch. And again, I appreciate you guys when you stop by and say, hey. So thank you so much, and I will check you guys all later. Bye.